All right, welcome back everyone to another episode of Dr. English Channel. I'm David, and sitting across from me, as always, is Anna. And today we've got a serious topic, not just motivational, but numbers, strategy, and reality. The title says it all, How to Make $1 Million in 3 Years. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos about the easy ways to learn English from beginner.
Exactly. And we're not talking about wishful thinking or manifesting it. This is going to be a breakdown of what it actually takes, what kind of income, what kind of investments, and what kind of discipline you need to reach that goal.
Right, and we're not claiming we're millionaires yet. We're walking through it as if we're planning it ourselves. So this is a real conversation, what we'd do, where we'd start, and what we'd avoid.
Exactly. Let's start by asking the obvious. Is $1 million in 3 years actually possible for an average person?
Good question. It's possible, but not easy. Let's break it down. $1 million over 3 years means about $333,000 a year, or about $27,700 per month.
That's already a big jump for most people. But the key is, it doesn't have to be all from one source. It can come from multiple streams, salary, side hustles, business, or investments that grow over time.
Exactly. You can't expect to hit that from one job. Even if you make $100K a year, you'd still need $233K more per year from other sources. So the challenge becomes, how do you build systems that bring in money while you sleep, or at least while you're not trading all your time for it?
That's where things like scalable income come in. Businesses, digital assets, or investments that grow over time.
Right, so maybe we can organize this discussion into stages. First, defining the goal clearly. Second, building income sources. Third, investing and compounding.
Perfect. Let's start with stage 1, understanding the goal and timeline. If we have 3 years, that's 36 months. If we're aiming for $1 million total, we can track progress quarterly. So every 3 months, we'd need to be about $83,000 richer than before.
That's a good checkpoint system. It helps measure results, not just dreams. So in quarter 1, we might just be setting up, building systems, saving capital. Maybe by month 6, the income streams start kicking in.
Right. The first 6 months might not produce much. It's all set up. But then growth can compound. Let's say we start with no savings. We'd need to aggressively increase income while minimizing expenses for reinvestment.
Okay, so how many income streams do you think we'd need? At least 3 solid ones. One main, one secondary, and one passive or scalable. Example, a main job or business that generates consistent income, a side business or freelance work that grows, and investments like stocks, index funds, or digital products that compound.
Makes sense. Let's assign example numbers. Suppose someone earns $70,000 a year at their job. They could aim to build a side business that earns $5,000 a month after 1 year. That's $60,000 more. Then invest aggressively, say $3,000 a month into assets that yield 10 to 15% returns per year. Over 3 years, that snowballs.
Right, but the secret is leverage. Not just financial leverage, but time leverage, meaning how do you multiply your time without burning out? That's why business or automation is key.
Exactly. Let's talk about types of leverage people can use. There's money leverage, using capital to invest. There's people leverage, hiring or outsourcing. And technology leverage, using digital tools or automation.
And you can even leverage content. For example, if you create something once, like an online course, an app, or a book, it keeps selling without needing constant effort.
So, in the first year, the focus should be building a foundation, a skill-based side hustle, cutting unnecessary expenses, and saving aggressively for investment.
Yes, if you can save $20,000 in the first 6 months, you already have capital to invest. But it's not enough to save. You have to make your money work harder.
Right. Keeping money in a bank won't grow it fast enough. At 1 to 2% interest, you'll barely beat inflation. The key is finding assets with higher yields, like stocks, ETFs, or even real estate if you can manage the capital.
Let's do a small thought experiment. Suppose you can invest $2,000 a month at 12% annual average return. In 3 years, that's roughly $81,000 total value. Not huge, but it adds up. Now imagine doing that while also growing your active income.
Exactly. So it's not about one big move. It's about stacking consistent, intelligent actions that multiply over time.
That's the strategy mindset. Year 1, learn and build. Year 2, scale. Year 3, compound and maximize.
And the discipline is the hardest part. Not spending the profits too soon, reinvesting them.
Right. You have to think like an investor, not a consumer. Every dollar you spend should either make you more money or buy you time.
That's a great point. Maybe in the next part, we break down real methods like what kinds of businesses or assets could realistically generate that $1 million result within 3 years.
Perfect. Let's go into stage 2 next, identifying actual passive and active income streams that fit that 3-year goal.
Okay, so now that we've set the goal, $1 million in 3 years, let's get practical. We said earlier we'd need multiple income streams. So, what are the most realistic options for people like us? Not billionaires, just working professionals.
Good starting point. I divide income into 2 main categories, active and passive. Active income is where you trade time for money, your job, freelancing, consulting, etc. Passive is where money or systems work for you, investments, digital products, royalties, automated businesses.
Right. So, in year 1, most people will rely on active income. You need capital before you can grow passive income.
Exactly. So let's start with active sources. If you already have a job, your goal is to either increase your salary through skills or create a side business that can grow.
So, let's say someone earns $60,000 a year now. If they can increase their skills and switch jobs or roles, they could maybe earn $80,000 in the next year. That's already $20,000 more to invest.
Yes, and the other route is a side hustle. Freelancing, consulting, coaching, e-commerce, or even content creation. The key is scalability. Can it grow beyond your personal time?
For example, freelancing is great, but it's still time for money. But if you turn your freelance work into a small agency with a few helpers, it becomes scalable.
Exactly, or take e-commerce. If you build a product that sells online, like print on demand or digital templates, it can grow while you sleep.
So let's imagine this. By the end of year 1, you've got 3 income streams: your job, a small online business, and some investment returns. That combination might generate $120,000 a year total if managed properly.
Now you're talking. Then you can reinvest maybe half, $60,000, into assets that grow faster.
So, what assets would you choose?
I'd look at 3 main ones: index funds, real estate, and online assets.
Explain the online assets part. That's interesting.
Online assets are things like monetized blogs, YouTube channels, digital courses, or software tools. They're real assets because they can produce income and appreciate over time.
Right. And the entry cost is lower than real estate. But the trade-off is time and creativity.
Yes, building those takes upfront effort, but once they're running, the margins are huge. Imagine creating one digital course that earns $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year with almost no extra work.
And if you have 5 like that, you're already halfway to replacing your job income.
Exactly. That's the power of digital leverage. So, if we map out a plan for year 1, stabilize job or main income. 2, build 1 or 2 scalable side hustles. 3, save at least 30 to 40% of total income. 4, start investing monthly.
Perfect. By month 12, you'll have a foundation to grow. Now, year 2 is where things get serious. Scaling and reinvesting.
All right, so imagine we've made it to the end of year 1. We have some savings, some small passive income, and a clearer direction. What now?
Now comes scaling, multiplying what's working. That's where most people get stuck.
Exactly. Scaling means taking what's already bringing in income and systemizing it. For example, if your online store is selling, you might automate fulfillment or hire a virtual assistant.
If your content is performing well, you double down, post more, expand to new platforms, or repurpose old content.
And if your freelance work is full, you bring on junior freelancers and take a management cut. That's leverage again.
Let's talk about reinvestment. Say you've saved $60,000 from year 1. How do you allocate it?
Personally, I do something like 50% into index funds or ETFs for long-term growth, 25% into my own business expansion, 15% into cash reserves, 10% into higher risk, higher reward plays like startups or crypto.
That's balanced. Safe core, but still some exposure for bigger upside.
Exactly. You don't get rich by gambling, but by compounding consistently.